welcome to the 6th episode of Now Playing the 916. You just heard today's guests, Seawater. Would you like to introduce yourselves and your instruments?
Certainly. They call me Seaman because that's what I ask them to call me. And I play bass guitar and do vocals.
My name's Arlo Greywolf. I play guitar and I sing.
I'm Chris. I've gone missing. I don't really have an instrument anymore. I'm kind of just in the basement right now. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Thank you guys for coming on the show. And just so our audience knows, this is a re-recording. So answers may be a little sillier than previously recorded.
Well, he did get kidnapped.
Are you kidnapped in the basement right now?
Yes.
In a basement, not ours. We don't know where he is. He got kidnapped and he's missing.
Yeah, so I got like a bit of cell service, and I decided that this interview was how I was going to plead for help. So if you can just send a little bit of help. I don't really have an address either, so it's really nothing I can
Yeah, maybe
do.
we can like ping your location or something. I don't know.
No, they got the phone.
We'll put your location in the description box.
Yeah, put that.
That'd
Yeah,
be a
put
big
that.
help,
Put,
actually.
put a PO box there too. Send stuff to.
How did you guys come together as a band?
Well, my dad is a construction guy who does all sorts of stuff. And he's been friends with Arlo's mom for like ever. And then one day, Arlo's mom was like, "Hey, Mike, I need my house painted. Come paint my house." And my dad was like, "Okay." And so they were talking to each other about it. And then turns out at that time I was getting like really into Primus. And so was Arlo. And parents like coordinated, said, "Yeah, I'm going to bring my child with me. And they're going to play with your child." And
They set up a play date.
yeah, they set up a
Yeah,
play date
pretty
while my dad painted the house. And like, I brought my bass guitar.
And then, after a while of just jamming, we've put out like 2 demos, not publicly, but just on cassette for a little bit because we like that analog sound. We really just like jammed around the Primus bit. Then we kind of just started writing originals and kind of messing around with, certain genres. But we mainly kind of stay focused towards like the avant-garde metal kind of sound. And then shortly after a long period of not having a drummer, we've had the fortunate event of having our beautiful Chris play drums for us for a brief period. And we've just never stopped since.
I met Seaman over here. It was like through a random person I met on a band app who met them through a band app. And it was just this like random one-off occurrence that we jammed. And I was like, this guy's kind of funny. This guy's kind of silly. And then you hit me up. You're like, we need a drummer. And then I was like, okay. And then that's kind of when that happened. It was like, how many years ago was that? That was like 2 years. 4 years? Wait, I'm tweaking. That can't
I
be
think
4
maybe it
years.
was around like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2020. It was late 2021.
Oh, wow. So that is almost 4 years.
Man, I was lying when I put those 4 fingers up.
Wait, that's not real. That can't be
Chris,
real.
you're just
right?
dumb and ugly. Get used to it.
Dude, settle down.
Dude.
We're in public. I gotta like fact check.
Fight, you can't fight back because you're missing. You got kidnapped.
Yeah, you're right. And then I got kidnapped, and then everything else has been as it
Yeah,
was.
so it's crazy. At our last show, it was like a Primus cover show, and like a bunch of people just ran up on stage and literally like picked them up, carried them out of the venue.
I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
There is video of
That's
it.
crazy.
Like 5 people walked up to him, carried him, and took him outside the venue. And I don't know where they took him.
Yeah, I don't know where they took me either. I kind of
Thank
forgot
God you
what
have a
happened.
drum tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, my drum tech
'Cause
thankfully.
I wasn't
was,
moving
in the
his
area.
stuff for him, you know.
No, none of us.
High five.
High five to the drum tech wherever he might be.
Is there any sort of theme to your guys' lyrics? Preferably not kidnapping?
Oh no, we don't write music about kidnapping. We usually just
We write music on various things, kind of in the heat of the moment. Whenever we write a really heavy instrumental, we're just like, this one's called Grandma.
yeah, we wrote a song. It's very powerful, so we called it. This song is about how much I love my grandma. We have a song called Genital Inspection Day. That's about like
just GID.
protecting like trans rights. We have hucking dogs because there's a couple like little small dogs in this household that are just very small.
And then I just have a utter desire all of a sudden to just grab them, go to my former high school football field and just fucking chuck them, dude.
And Boomer Bait, that one's pretty. We get political. We're on the political spectrum.
It's one of the most political, progressive songs you've ever written.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask my next question, are there physical influences to the music? But I guess there are tiny dogs and human genitals.
Yeah.
And human people.
Human people.
Yeah, like so Boomer Bait, it's about like our disdain for baby boomer generation and how they screwed up our whole planet.
They're not like the most nicest people when it comes to modern bands kind of adapting to like the traditional rock, because some kids don't want to play, boomer bends, Tim Henson kind of words to put it. But I kind of imagined it like that, like kind of just the old guys at the shows, and they're kind of just like, these bands are just fucking, man, why can't you guys play a song? There has to be a guitar solo, and there has to be, so it's kind of boomer band, because it's kind of power rock in a way.
Yeah, we're baiting boomers into liking our music.
Rage bait, music bait, boomer bait.
I want to take a quick detour. Arlo, why did you call Tim Henson a boomer?
Oh no, because Tim Henson in like a Rick
Because he's
Beato,
old.
in a Rick Beato interview,
He's 31 years old.
he was talking about
he's not even a boomer.
he's talking
just a
about
millennial,
in an
man.
interview he's talking about boomer bends. So then like boomer bends, because then Rick Beato.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought
okay. I thought you were calling him.
School.
I thought you were calling him a boomer. I
Oh,
had to
no, no,
clarify.
no.
I was like,
It's kind of scary because I think in like 5 years he's going to be considered a boomer, which is, don't think about that.
It's not true. Baby boomers is not an age; it's a generation.
Wow. Oh, sorry.
For musical influences, other than Primus, who do you guys have on your list?
Mr. Bungle, Nirvana, Meshuggah, Korn, Black Sabbath, Yngwie Malmsteen, Buckethead,
Loincloth,
Deli Creeps, Macabre,
Sleep Token.
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys. That's an interesting one. Do you want to go into that?
Not really. It kind of starts and ends there.
When I first met C-Man here, we were like talking about like on our first text messages, we were talking about just bands in general and music we liked, and I was just like, he liked Gorillaz like a little bit. You liked Eminem. You liked. I remember you texted, "I like Eminem. I like."
What are you talking? The Reverend Horton Heat,
Bro Job,
Tool, Tomahawk.
I just like music, man. I don't know. That's
Limp
kind of
Bizkit.
about it. I think my inspirations are very different from, because also going back to kind of me joining the band, it was like, I don't think I was really into Primus or much of any of like the stuff that I'm super into now as I was then.
Yeah, we had to mold him like a hunk of clay.
Yeah.
I got like no, it wasn't like molded, it was like just like slammed against concrete and stomped on until I eventually caved. But it was like a lot of my inspirations were sort of kind of like
Pink Floyd,
Queens of the Stone Age, like, still in the same like era of like kind of like Nirvana, 90s and 80s and stuff, but like just a little different area of it, I think.
Oingo Boingo.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Oingo Boingo. I feel like you're just listing off bands at this point.
He's on Spotify right now. He's looking at all his bands.
Shut
on
up,
his
Chris.
playlist.
Shut up.
He's just got his main playlist pulled up, what he's listened to recently.
Yeah.
Well, no. I do take heavy inspiration from those bands, but yeah, that's what I was doing. I forget.
He listed off all of my inspirations. Easy.
He didn't list off mine. Mine says I'm moving down.
Guthrie Govan.
Guthrie Govan. Chris, what are your inspirations? Let's just put it clear for bands.
I guess my inspiration as of late has been System of a Down for a lot of sort
Temple
of
Pilots.
local stuff. I also really like Dillinger Escape Plan. They're pretty cool. I think they've inspired me a lot of like vocals.
Ooh,
I think
that's
that's
good.
kind of the main two as of late.
He only listens to 2 bands.
Yeah, true. I only listen to 2 bands.
Seawater.
Johnny Pandora.
Speaking of Seawater, I guess C, there is a confectionery element inside of the band.
Yep.
Last time we talked about this, you mentioned mustard taffy. Is that still on the table?
It is. We are so I like to make candy. It's fun. And so we're gonna have some official merch coming out sometime soon. That's seawater taffy, not saltwater taffy, because that's lame and for dum-dums. We're making seawater taffy. I also make hard candy. I'm gonna make all sorts of kinds of candy, but our first official one is gonna be mustard flavored. Like that's gonna be our top seller. Everybody's gonna buy it. Cause I'm the mustard man, the mustard gas.
I just got back from Japan. I picked up some tubed wasabi. If I gave you a little bit of this tubed wasabi, would you be able to make some wasabi candy?
No.
No.
No, so it would just burn. It wouldn't taste like wasabi, it would taste like burnt.
So how would you be making the mustard one? Is there like a powder?
Well, so with the powder too, it would burn. So I have to get specific extracts or oils.
So there is mustard extract that you can buy.
Probably. If not, then I'll make it myself. I'll find a way.
How long have you been making these sweets?
I'd say like COVID.
And Chris, you are in another band. Did you want to tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, I'm in Very Small. I play bass there. We're getting ready to record 4 more songs this weekend. Actually, we we
Ooh.
got we're over at Earth Tone Studio with Patrick. He's super cool. I'm blanking. I think he's the drummer in a band. I can't remember the name. It's gonna drive me insane for the rest of this, but he's
He's gonna
fucking
kill
awesome.
you
Super
about
cool.
it.
He's gonna kill me about it, yeah. But he's super cool, super sweet guy. Yeah, we've been kind of going for a little bit. We played a show recently over at the Cafe Colonial. It's pretty cool, pretty fun.
So do you find that you're able to bridge Seawater as well as Very Small or Pretty Small?
Very small, very small. By bridge, you mean like just like manage, kind of like be able to do both, or
Do you find that there's like a connection musicality-wise?
absolutely not. And I think it was really funny when I
They
got
play
kidnapped
music.
with Also Possessed for the last interview that didn't happen. It was like answers that were given were really funny. I think Possessed Chris gave the wrong answer because they didn't even know what it was. Arlo said the closest thing, which was Mac DeMarco, and then Seaman mixed me up with another band. Seaman thought we were a different. Seaman keeps mixing up my band with another band called Smalley Big, which I fucking love.
I did it today too. I did it again today, by the way. I saw a Smalley Big post, and I was like, "Oh, Chris didn't tell us he's going on tour."
So it was also funny because that Cafe Colonial show we played with Smalley Big, and we got our names mixed up in the like one of the bands that were playing second. They were like one of the sized bands is playing next or whatever. So yeah, they were kind of like bedroom sort of like Dr. Dog esque in our style, whereas Seawater's a little more, as you can see from the motions of Mr. Seaman over there, a little more chaotic. So I don't think there's a bridge at all in any regard, but it's both musical.
You play an instrument in both of the bands, and that's what matters.
I think that is the only link ever in both of them.
And then Mormons from Hell is an interesting song name. There is a very strange noise at the very end of the song. Do you guys want to go a little into what this creature was?
It was that creature right there.
I'm gonna be real. I can't answer it because I was like barely in the recording sessions. I pretty much did my guitar and
Yeah.
vocals, and then I dipped. So then these two fine gentlemen kind of did most of the magic of the album. So I don't know if you had anything to
I
add.
have
Aaron.
something to add. I'll let you know a
Chris?
little secret. Most of the noises that you hear happened when I left to go drop off Arlo, and it was just and Eric left in the room. Eric was the guy who was recording us. And and so I left Seaman and Eric in the room alone for an hour or so, and I came back, and then there was a lot more noises on the album than I initially remembered there being, including that last one. It was just, fuck, Seaman, do you want to explain what that noise was?
Pass.
I'll let you guys
Okay,
decide.
well,
I will let the audience decide what that noise was because there's many noises on the album. The
Yeah.
whole album is noise, so it's really up for speculation. That's all I could say. Unhelpful, but I hope it brings some insight, maybe some ideas. Maybe you can have an 8th grade English class that has an overanalyzation over literature. I hope that happens with
Can I have
this
a mute Arlo button?
little release we did.
With the instrumental songs, how do you choose the name? We talked a little bit about these songs with lyrics, but what about without?
They're an afterthought.
We never write lyrics. We write a song and then we like name it based on a feel,
Yeah,
and then we go into lyrics, if at all, at like right before recording it.
pretty much. That was pretty much how it went with the recording day of the last EP. It was just straight up like we got these instrumentals, but
Yeah.
then we have one we got to add lyrics to.
None of us are really like vocalists per se. We're all just like we play our instruments and then we can go bah while we do that, and then we go to a certain point where we're like, okay, we need to add an extra layer of depth to this song, and so the only way to do that is add lyrics. And yeah, it's always a last thought.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, so the names of the songs really just come from a feel.
Yeah.
Like we have protest songs that don't have any words.
Do you have any steps that you take to write the lyrics, or is it kind of just
Sometimes we go a little too far.
Yeah.
I had a mental breakdown a while back because we were trying to write lyrics to a song that we wrote a song, and then Chris was like, "Hey, you know what? We should make it harder." And we really did good at that. And it was like impossible to write lyrics that fit in it for. Like we go the extra mile to make our listeners happy.
Do you have a favorite lyric so far?
I don't give a shit about your resume.
I don't give it. I don't give a shit about your resume. I like the first. Hood High is pretty good. The first couple bars of our song that hasn't been released, Tax. I like that one.
Yeah, it goes huh, ha.
And then I really liked I liked the input that my fellow bandmates have given me for one of our latest songs that are actually like musically melodic is one of another song that's unreleased is Sulking. It's going to be on this next EP we're working on. But that one is kind of about like just being bummed, and all you have at your disposal is music. So one of my favorite things is just relatable. It's just here I am with my Alice in Chains record. Here I am crying to the things that don't matter. I like those. So those are my favorite lyrics.
Do you think there will be more lyrics within your guys' music at some point? Or are you
Sorry to cut
You're
you
good.
off. But absolutely.
absolutely
We're gaining a third vocalist.
Oh, more vocals than instruments because one of your
Yeah, at
bandmates
the
is
moment, yeah.
kidnapped?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so we're currently trying to replace him, which easier said than done, and
I
you
know,
would think
I'm
it would be
very
really easy
replaceable.
to replace him. But we've just kind of struggled with it a
No,
little
I'm
bit.
just like some
You
average
look at him and he's
little
pretty
fucking
replaceable.
dude.
But it's I don't know what it is. It's just a little difficult. But yeah, so our plan for the near future, which is going to be by the time that this comes out, no longer
Hopefully I
a
won't
plan.
be
It's going to
kidnapped by
be
then.
fact. We are going to have 2 guitar players, a bass player, and a drummer.
Oh, wow. So last time we talked, you guys were searching for a drummer, right? But you have found one since 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. We're waiting until we can find Chris to actually announce who it is because it'd be kind of messed up if we were just like, "Hey, yeah, our drummer's missing, so we just replaced him."
Yeah,
We're
it's
going to
pretty
wait
bad
till he
PR
comes
move.
back. We're going to wait till he comes back and actually like give him the boot once he gets back.
I think that's pretty fair.
And
That's
then we'll
pretty
be like,
fair.
"Yeah, I don't want to be a
Yeah, I get it.
dick."
What is something you guys are
Oh, I didn't tell Chris. Chris, yeah, so when you get back, you're not going to be our drummer anymore.
I mean, I get it. I
I
understand.
it's nothing about you. It's purely because you suck.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, trust me, I get it.
Okay. All right. Well, so next question.
you didn't know? What is something you wish for the band other than kicking Chris out?
Oh, so we're gonna move to Korea.
Move to Korea?
Um, yeah, Arlo, why don't you explain that one? Or Chris, do you want to take a swing at
I
it?
don't think I know how.
Okay.
All right.
You think you got it?
Yeah, I'll take the talking stick
I'll
for
cut
this.
you off if you start
I
going
do
off
have
track.
a question beforehand.
Yeah, what's up?
North or south?
Which one's the good one?
South. So
Yeah, South Korea.
ideally, when we get big, we want to go on a
You're already wrong.
what?
So after a couple years of doing this, we don't plan on getting big doing Seawater, but we're gonna get into like this whole black metal phase, and then we're just gonna call it quits out of the U.S. We're gonna move to South Korea, and then we're just gonna start producing a bunch of K-pop.
Pretty much.
Oh,
We're gonna be like a really good boy band, but with like dark elements to it.
Yeah, and we're gonna like hide in the anonymity of the internet for a while.
Yeah.
But once we do our like first show as our K-pop group
In Korea.
in Korea, it's gonna be pretty big. We already have some like ins over there that we're already starting to get stuff rolling. But yeah, so we have a whole production plan for our first and probably only show as our K-pop group.
so when you
Under the
complete your
same name.
show as a K-pop group, are you guys going to come back as Seawater, or are you
No, we're gonna
retiring
kill
off of
ourselves
that?
at the end of the show.
We're gonna do a ritualistic suicide at the end of the show.
Mm,
All 4 of us.
very
You
intriguing.
mean all three of you? All three of you, right? Because I'm not there. I got kicked out. Or
Yeah.
I'm still kidnapped, either or. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we gotta find. Like, if we can't find you, then we'll just move to Korea. I mean, like, we can't let you get in the way of our plans. You know,
I
like
wasn't
you're
really
just
gonna plan on it.
insignificant. You're too
but-
insignificant to get in the way of us going
I
to
mean,
Korea.
there was no
know?
intention of stopping you necessarily.
Yeah,
I
okay,
actually didn't
buddy.
have a
Don't get mad.
Okay, let's settle down. Let's calm it down.
Settle
buddy.
down, dude.
Settle.
If you could add
I've got nothing else.
any instrument to the band, what would it be?
saxophone, keyboard. I want a disc jockey. I want like a 9-person group. We need percussion. We need a third guitar. We need 2 bass players. Like
want a trumpet.
probably a clarinet too.
We need a really big rehearsal space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a trumpet.
We're gonna need a lot of mics.
Are you guys thinking Earth, Wind, and Fire or
Yeah.
Mr. Bungle.
And Mr. Bungle.
And Slipknot, of course, the greatest band of all time.
Good old Slapnut. I love Slapnut, dude.
my favorite
they're called
band is
Slipknot.
Slapnuts. They are my favorite. I
Yeah.
am a
Yeah,
13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Please, high five. Thank you.
So will you guys be adding a second drummer in honor of Slapnuts?
Fuck yeah. We're gonna do
No,
it.
so we're not gonna have 2 drummers. We're gonna have a drummer and a percussionist.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So there's gonna be one guy that's like playing like classic drums, like the Frog Brigade. There's gonna be one guy on drums, and then one guy that's like wiping the inside of a drum. That's goes.
I ideally want for the band, I want like a wine glass player, just dipping his
yeah.
fingers, going woo, you know.
It cut off on there as well, but for the people listening, it would be
You got it.
Hey, do you want to join our band?
as the wine
You
glass
could be our wine glass player.
wine glasses.
Yeah.
We'll have you at a show. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for real.
Immediately.
Like legit.
I'll give it a shot.
Sweet.
All right.
And you guys previously, when we interviewed, had no tour coming up soon. But has that changed in the past week since you've gotten a
That
drum?
has not
It
changed.
is not changed?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pretty excited about it.
But are there any other plans, such as
Um,
pop-up shows, merch?
We have a couple shows planned. So we have a couple shows planned. We do, and we're working on planning more every single day. We're gonna play a lot this summer, especially with our new lineup. We're gonna go full speed ahead. We're gonna play the Bay. We already got some Bay Area shows planned. We got some SAC shows planned. We're gonna hopefully go south and north. We actually haven't really gone north ever.
Ooh.
We've only played in Sacramento. I guess we've played the Bay Area, Sacramento, and San Diego.
San Diego.
San Diego. Can we hear about San Diego?
We don't. Holy shit! Where do we start with San Diego?
Chris, you're good at telling us.
Oh God. Okay. San Diego. So we got a request one time to go play a gig for this thing called. Seaman over here got a little invitation to a certain festival that if you know, you know, but if you don't know, better that you don't know. It was like this farm or something. I don't even know what it was, like some massive lot of land that we went to, but that's not even the real start of it here. That's just kind of
Were
the
there animals
precursor.
on this
We
farm?
end up no, it would have made it a little bit nicer. It was just hail, like really fucking bad hail. So we kind of got this gig and we were like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let's try to make like a whole thing out of it. And we got another band with us to kind of help alleviate some of the costs of traveling and stuff. And they were also on the same bill. And so we traveled down south. We ended up getting a gig in fucking Fresno, was it?
Yep.
On the way, we were like, okay, we'll play this gig at Fresno, stay the night over at somebody's place that we know. And we show up to go play the gig. There was a dog tied up in the backyard.
There were 2.
2 dogs tied up in the backyard, like very clear signs of neglect on both of these dogs. And this is where we're supposed to be playing, so loud music is just blasting. And we immediately bailed. We were like, fuck that, no. So that's how that day started. We started going to Fresno, realizing hating Fresno.
So to add more detail to that, we showed up, unloaded all our gear, put it all in their backyard, took a look around, saw all this. The dogs were covered in wounds and ticks the size of my pinky. And they were chained up basically to the stage. And so we were like, okay, yeah, we're going to leave. We're going to take pictures, call the ASPCA, and leave. So we start loading out all our gear. And then a group of the kids that were there, because it was like a bunch of 15-year-olds, they were all, the first group walked up to us and was like, hey, are you guys leaving? And they were like, yeah, we're leaving. Well, why are you leaving? Because of the dogs, man. We're not going to play a show with these dogs chained up right here when they're clearly being neglected and abused.
Just suffering.
Goodbye. And then we continue loading up our stuff. They come back again and they're like, hey, we saw you take those pictures. What are you going to do with them? And like, you could tell that they were like wanted to fight us or some shit. And then we're like, yeah, I took pictures. They're my pictures. I'm going to do with them what I want to do with them. Goodbye. And then another group of kids came up to us, a different group, and they were like, "Hey, I think it's really cool that you guys aren't playing this show because we really support what you guys are doing and by not playing the show, and it's really good for the dogs. I'm glad you guys are doing it. And by the way, we're probably not gonna play it either, just because we agree with what the message you're trying to put out there. And by the way, if you're so we're trying to get a show in Sacramento, and it would be really cool if you guys could help us book a show." We're like, "Great, yeah, goodbye."
No, and then like one of the bands that were at the house, I guess one of them lived there. They were like, "You guys aren't gonna say anything about us when you guys go back there." Like,
And no, we won't.
But did you guys help them get a booking?
yeah,
You did?
Wait, sorry, repeat that?
Yeah.
Did you help the other band get a booking?
No, they played
No,
anyway.
because they played
they
anyways.
played anyways. Yeah,
They said
they
all
were-
that, and they were like,
Sorry.
"Oh
It's
yeah,
totally
we're
like
actually gonna do
bootlicker
that."
kiss asses, and then they were just like, "Oh, they're gone? Okay, let's do it."
So on with the story, you guys left Fresno.
Yep, we go to San Diego the next day.
Bakersfield.
I thought we stayed in Bakersfield and then went to San Diego.
But you're not gonna tell a story about the wallet pelt and how angry you were that night?
We're glazing over that, but we can
Please,
go back if we want
Please. It's important.
to. Fuck. See, man, you thought it best. I gotta get like a button. I gotta get like a button or something to like censor
Please,
myself.
Chris, please.
Tell
the story,
to
Papa.
start with this story. The thing is, I think I've blocked most of this like nightmare out of my brain.
So we go to Denny's because we're in Bakersfield and there's not much to do out there. We go there, and then Arlo gets a milkshake. We bring him back to we're after we're done eating there and like messing around. We go back to the house and we're all like trying to take a nap. But Arlo has such an insane sugar high. He's just like running around the house.
shirtless.
No clothes on. He just had a pair of underwear on, and he was just like literally running around, crawling around on all fours, like hiding behind furniture and just like trying to scare people. And he's just like running around and fucking around. It was
My
funny.
favorite thing to do is I would stand really still in the kitchen and just stare at you guys while you slept or trying to go to bed. And I would just stand there. And then like as soon as one of you guys were looking the other way, I would like duck down and then like make it look like I teleported.
Oh my
And
god.
he just keeps running around all night. Everybody's like being like, "Arlo, go the fuck to bed.
What the
I'm
fuck
tired of this shit. Let me fucking sleep. I'm so tired." And then at one point, I was egging him on the whole night because I'm an instigator. And eventually, I'm like, okay, I'm sick of this now. So I just take my wallet out of my pocket and I just throw it at him full force. And as soon as it hits him, he just like turns around and looks at me like a sad puppy, and then just falls asleep immediately. And he was standing up. He just like turned around, looked at me, laid down, and fell asleep immediately. Like within like 10 seconds. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
forgot about that one. I forgot.
And then I kept farting and waking people up.
You farted so loud you woke people up.
I've done more than that.
Yeah, didn't you like fucking like go on top of their face while they were sleeping, just let one loose?
Maybe. I think I may have done that to Chris, actually. I think, man, there was one point where I don't remember what I was doing, but I was just like tweaking all night. And like at one point, I just look up and Chris, like, he's not an angry person. He doesn't really get mad. But there was one point where I just look up and he's like staring at me with like the meanest face I have ever seen. And he's so just pure rage. He just stares at me until I quiet down. And then he just goes back to sleep. It was so funny. And then at one point, the drummer of the other band we were with, shout out Solution Euphoria / Dog Bile. Their drummer was like a really loud snorer, and he kept people up because of his snoring. And at one point, I wake up in like probably like 3 a.m. I just like sit up and like directly across the room from me, I see Arlo laying down, and he was like laying kind of next to me when he fell asleep. So he like shifted over there somehow. And then, like, all I see is himself. He's just, like, punching himself in the head. And then I'm just like, okay, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's hard to actually punch yourself to, like, get unconscious. It's really hard.
Impossible.
It's hard to even...
It's impossible.
It's just hard, though, because it's hard to beat yourself up.
But, yeah, I asked him about it in the morning, and he was like, dude, why were you punching yourself in the head last night? I was like, oh, I was trying to knock myself out. I couldn't sleep because of Richie's snoring.
Yeah, because he wanted to go... like that all fucking night. All night. So yeah.
And yeah,
there's more to that as well at San Diego.
And yeah, it was so funny. It was me and Bella that stayed up the longest. And it's funny because before Jesse fell asleep, I was telling like, man, I'm gonna wake up at exactly 6 o'clock, and you're gonna see it. Yeah, it was funny because I did wake up at exactly 6 o'clock, and then I woke him up, and then I fell back asleep.
Fucking dick.
And I don't know what it is, but like my body clock has always been set to 6 a.m. I've always woken up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
like on the dot. It doesn't matter if I got an hour of sleep. Doesn't matter if I went to sleep at like 8 p.m. I'm waking up at 6.
Yeah. So yeah, like after we stay at this one of the band members' uncle's houses, and then we pack our stuff, and then we start heading towards the
After I take a
place.
shit in their neighbor's
And-
lawn.
And so like we're like driving, and we're kind of it was actually a pretty nice drive, but as soon as we got
Awesome
closer
drive.
to the actual place,
Here,
it started getting
I'll
weird.
get
So,
this part.
The
So
pilot here.
yeah, so so I bought my car like pretty much specifically for this trip. I got a tow hitch installed for this trip, and then we get to San Diego, and it's 40 minutes out of San Diego. So I mean, yeah, it was a far trip, and it starts raining. I'm going up these mountain roads because it was out in the mountains over in San Diego area, and I'm driving up. The road isn't paved anymore. It's a dirt road, 2 lanes. That's fine. I don't care. And I'm hauling a trailer too. This is my first time driving with a trailer. I'm just going further and further up because I'm looking for signs. I'm looking for lights. Anything that tells me, hey, there's a festival going on. There's music. You should come and have a good time. And I just keep going up and up until it becomes a single lane road. Dirt road. There's like a 100-foot drop on one side, and it's crumbling because it started to rain even harder. It's just all crumbling, and then I keep going up because I'm just looking for the spot, and then I see a car reversing down this like 180-degree flip. I forget what they're called in the road, and so I gotta back this up, and I'm like, again, first time driving a trailer. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I had to back it out of this 1-lane road just enough to where you can get a spot where this guy can turn around his car and get past us, and just barely too. And then he pulls in there. He rolls down his window. I rolled down mine, and he's like, "Man, I am so high on shrooms right now. I have no idea what I'm doing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I assume you're looking for the festival too, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have no idea where it is." And so we're just like, "What do we do?" And I had to walk him through how to turn his car around because he was so high. But eventually, he does get past after doing like a 25-point turn. So of course I have to do like a 75-point turn to just like turn the trailer around, and I'm terrified of heights.
We were high up, bro.
We were so high up, and it was awful. And yeah, we managed to get it around. And then when we're going back down, we finally see the place with like a plywood sign that's painted on one side, and it's the side that you see when you're going down. And so we're like, okay, it's raining hard. That is a super steep driveway made out of dirt and mud. We are not gonna just drive my trailer down there. So we all walk down there, and the first thing that Chris does is sits down at the bar and gets a drink. And
I'm not really a drinker. I don't. I drink like socially and stuff, but like for me to like will myself to get up to go like for a drink is profound. That was a low. That was another low.
That's how much it was. That's how stressful this whole just getting to the
Yeah.
place, not even the place itself.
And then when we
Also,
got to the
I want to add
actual,
another note.
Well, you weren't there for this.
Yeah, I want to add another note to this as well. So when we're walking down, right, and I think I don't remember who I was talking to. I was talking to like one of the bands there. I think they were messaging me about how the main stage had closed down because of how much rain there was. And we get there, and I'm walking kind of past the main stage, and I see there's a little bit of a slope to this main stage that maybe wasn't there initially, and it was mostly because the stage started sinking. And it was completely rained out. People that played while it was raining got shocked a little bit. They got like electrocuted while playing. And yeah, and then I saw, again, I'm studying audio engineering and stuff over at ARC, and I'm like looking at all this shit that's going on. I'm just like, what? Like, there's so many things wrong here. There's a power cable running through the mud right now.
yeah,
There's like a puddle next to the said power cable. It's just all like OSHA violations out the ass, and it's just like that was the point where I was like, I need a drink. I'll be back.
And then
Yeah.
so we after that we go and talk to the person that's like running the whole thing, and we talk to her about the rain and the weather, and she's like, "Oh, it's gonna be totally great. You're gonna love it. It's gonna just blow right over. It's gonna be so beautiful. You're gonna love it." And we were like, "Okay, I believe you." Because you're the person in charge. You're running this whole thing. I believe you if you say you live here. You say it's gonna blow right over. okay. So we drive back down. We walk up, grab my car. We drive down and park, and we start setting up camp because it was like Woodstock. We were camping. We knew that wasn't something that was like, oh, sorry, we ran out of room. It was yeah. So we do all that. First thing that happens is Chris and Richie's tent floods. So
Yeah.
they try and sleep in my car. And then, like, they're trying to figure out a way to make it so they can have windows open, but not get my car wet. And it took them forever to do that. And it was Jesse, me, and Arlo in our tent. And we were falling asleep. Arlo had fallen asleep. And Jesse and I, we keep noticing how the tent keeps getting wet and wetter and wetter. And then we're realizing that it is, in fact, flooding too. So we wake up Arlo. He turns around and his lips are completely blue. He got bad hypothermia and he didn't even know it. When he woke up, he didn't feel anything. And then when we actually got him up and walking around, he got like frozen. And then we go up to Chris and Richie, who are in my car, and they were like just on the brink of falling asleep. So we wake them up and say, "We're leaving. We gotta go."
This is inhumane. We can't fucking do this shit no longer, bro.
Yeah. So Chris, you can take it from there.
I wanna roll it back just a couple seconds because I want to explain a little more too. With me and Richie in the car, we were just sitting there. It was like, okay, our tent flooded, whatever, that's okay. We got our window propped open. We got like a tarp over it so it's not dripping water in. And we're just like, it's like the most like relaxing, like just peaceful moment. We were just talking. We're like calm after the storm, and we're like, you're like, oh, that's great. Good night, Richie. Good night, Chris. And then we both fall. Like I'm like about to fall asleep, and I am pulled back to reality as like Seaman here rips the door open. And is like, we have to go. We gotta go. And I was like, what's happening? And then I got informed the tent flooded, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch. And then what we had to do was take apart like all our tents and stuff like that because I don't remember if we took down me and Richie's tent. I think we left that up just because we were like,
you left
whatever.
it up because you were just like, "I will deal with it in the morning. No big deal."
We'll deal with it in the morning. But we decided that we kind of had to take everything down, and so we took everything down. It is like torrential weather at this point. It is like coming down incredibly hard, and we are all freezing. It's like I don't even know the temperature. I can't remember. It was freaking cold, and having to take apart our tents that are now covered in mud and water and throw them into our
Yeah, we
trailer with
basically
all
had
of
to
our
just
equipment.
yeah, we basically just had to throw it on top of our gear, unprotected, and just
It just
bounce.
kind of hope it didn't break anything and just kind of threw it. And then we threw all that shit in there and then we drove off and we were like we got to get like a room
We had to
somewhere.
drive 40 minutes back to San
Society.
Diego.
Back to society from the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And it was then I think we found like the only one that was really gonna be able to get us in was like a Motel 6 or whatever. And that was that was a lot because it was kind of a last minute type thing. Yeah. So that cost a lot of money. Time for some lighthearted stories though. We got to the we got to the hotel room.
There's no part of this
Seaman,
that's lighthearted.
Seaman, you can no, this part's funny. Seaman, you can explain also some of the stuff that happened in your room in a little bit, but I'm gonna tell
I don't really
the second
remember.
snoring incident that happened.
Yeah.
So the way the rooms got divvied up was me, Arlo, and Richie, and we were in our room. You know, like we're all beat. Everyone is just knocked on their ass. We all end up going to bed. I end up sharing a bed with Richie, and then Arlo sleeping by himself.
So
Uh,
he was the lucky one because he got hypothermia.
because so I'm like we're sleeping, we're falling asleep. I kind of wake up, I hear the classic snoring, the deafening roar off to my right, which I'm able to handle that a lot better than I say Arlo would be. I look over to my left, Arlo's not there anymore, and I'm like, okay, strange. Me half asleep, didn't think about that. I actually just kind of saw it and was like, ooh, free bed, and rolled over to his bed and slept there. And then I woke up again. I was like, wait a minute, yeah, where the fuck did Arlo go? And then I walked into the bathroom and he was asleep on the bathroom floor trying to
Cradle
hide from the
position.
snoring again. Yeah, there's a bunch of other shit that happened in the room with all the other guys, but yeah, I mean, then the rest of the story goes, we went, played this gig.
Oh, I can
Um,
tell about my room too.
oh my god.
So
Fuck.
we just stayed up really late again, and we were just fucking around a lot. Even though we went through all that, we were just fucking around, and it was a lot of fun. And I forget, I think somebody ended up falling asleep in the bathtub.
Yeah, that was Arlo, that's what I was saying.
Well,
Arlo,
no, I think
no,
Jesse
your
did
room?
it too.
Your room?
and in your
Ooh.
room?
I think somebody did that, but yeah, I don't remember much of that. But Chris, the reason I stopped you was because you weren't explaining it right. But go ahead.
Right. Anyways, we wake up the next morning, debilitated, beat down, and weathered. And we're like, okay, is it even worth it to go back and play this gig at this point? Our souls are crushed right now. The worst part is we don't even know if we're gonna get paid for this. By the way.
Yeah.
We weren't even
and-
thinking about that though.
Yeah, but like that wasn't like a thing that like was necessarily like it was something on my mind sort of, but it wasn't like prevalent compared to all the misery that we just endured.
Yeah,
It was
because we
like
were like, we had signed contracts. We were like, yeah, this is gonna be.
Seemed pretty legit.
Yeah, it was professional.
yeah. So
It-
we kind of just said fuck it, let's go play it. And we head back again. It's torrential weather. It is hailing now at this point, right? Or it started
There-
hailing at some point when we're there.
There-
And they're still saying, oh, it'll just blow away in a couple minutes, guys. It'll still blow away. And I'm kind of like blasting through all this just because I think we're taking a little bit long here. But we end up playing our set or whatever.
Yeah, we
in
play
a
our
way.
set while it's hailing and raining,
Yeah.
and my bass keeps breaking. Like I keep hitting it so hard that the pickup keeps falling out. And like
You get a nail
between
in your
each
thumb.
song, I have to like grab a screwdriver and put the pickup back. And at one point the screw came out, and like I still have a scar on my thumb from it. But like I was just like whacking it real hard, and then I ended up covering it with blood.
Oh my
There's still
god.
blood on it. And that was a year ago.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. But we honestly, that rage made for a pretty good set.
Yeah.
Like
I think it did.
if there's one good thing from that trip, well, there's two good things because I will never forget. Like there's so many in all the bad things that happened. We had so much fun with the other band.
Yeah.
Like that's something I'll never forget. And we're like all like brothers now, but yeah, we're as close as people can get now because of that horrible thing. So after we do our set, they have the Solution Euphoria, well, formerly known as Source Solution Euphoria, now known as Dog Bile. They go on to do their set, and then Jesse, he starts their set with like fuck hippies, fuck yuppies, we're Solution Euphoria or some shit, and then like a half a song into their set, the lady that was in charge and like the whole time she was just like, yeah, everything's great, it's gonna blow right over, it's gonna be so much fun, it's gonna be warm, and she was just like, oh, sorry, the weather's getting bad, we have to cut your set.
Coincidentally.
Yeah. And so we just played like a cappella Dead Kennedys and Rush. Anything to
Yeah.
add to that? I'm done.
The last note to
The way back was okay?
no, it was kind of like when I'm trying to think of a good way to describe the way back. It was like a hollow march back home.
Yeah, that's it was empty. We didn't
Yeah,
really
and-
stop except for gas. And
Yeah.
actually I took a crazy shit in the bathroom.
We went to a
We might have to
grocery
Bakersfield.
store in the area and bought like
Yeah.
fucking all of us
Yeah.
our own individual chocolate.
Yeah, I got
milk
everybody a
jugs.
liter of chocolate milk, and
And we were
nobody
chugging
drank
it.
it.
I-
Nobody drank it.
I tried to chug mine, but I was gonna puke. But
I ended up
you
drinking
bought.
all
I
of
think
them.
you bought sugar cookie. It was the perfect like Cope meal, dude.
Yeah, no, it was. I bought everybody like sugar cookies and chocolate milk and just a bunch of like junk food sugar.
Donuts. I was debating on getting the Vaughn's sushi, but then y'all like heated me to not.
Yeah,
do
no,
it.
and like I will forever like do not get like grocery stores sushi. I mean, there is some of it that's good, like some of the local. There's good grocery store sushi at the Petaluma Market, but just at Safeway type place. I'm not gonna no.
Yeah.
You're not. Absolutely not. Yeah. The only note I have to add on to the San Diego thing was the end where we were like, okay,
yeah.
cool. Let's get the fuck out of here. And then I walk up to the lady and I'm like, hey, can we get like paid for this? And they were like, actually, we're in the red, so we can't pay any
I'm
of the
gonna kill
bands
you.
that came out. And then they were like, like you guys should have like, like if you like promoted more, got more people to come out, it would have been good. And I was like, I have so many things I want to say to you, but so little time. And
We just
so
yeah,
little
we
words
basically
in
just
my
said okay, bye.
vocabulary that could even describe how pissed off I am. Like I was just like, okay, whatever, bye. And then I just left, and I remember like coming back to the car. I was like, let's
Yeah.
just get the fuck out of here.
We
I
were
don't
just
care
so
anymore.
done
Let's
with it.
go.
Like,
please.
yeah, that was just like the perfect ending to a perfect day, you know? It's the best day, yeah.
Doesn't get better than this, does it?
And yeah, like overall, like
just
after
life.
the tour, because it was just such an experience. Like after the tour, it took us a little bit to like adjust back to like our normal kind of slow.
Oh
like,
yeah,
just-
and no, and especially
break.
for like
Take a
for
fucking
the other
break after
band
that
too,
shit.
because They had some major shit
Oh
go
my
down, like
God, yeah.
major life-changing shit go down, like the day we left. And then they just had to come back to like, yeah. I'm not gonna share too much of their part because that's for them to share. I'm not them, so I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that was terrible.
So moving on to some lighter stuff before we close out. You were, Seaman, wearing a jacket earlier, and when we previously interviewed, you sent some pictures of this kind
Yeah.
of gross jacket.
No, I was at
Is
work
this the
today.
same one that you were wearing earlier?
If I wore that to work, I would probably well, I wouldn't get fired, but I'd probably send some people to the hospital. No, so that jacket that you're referencing is called Filth. If you've ever seen us play live, then you have seen Filth.
Filth by Seaman.
Yeah, it's my luxury. It's my brand. But yeah, it's covered in mold, blood, grass stains, Sharpie, mustard stains, of course. I'm Seaman, of course. It's covered in everything. It is really nasty. But I wear it to every single one of our shows. There have been three shows where I've not worn it. Two of them have been Primus tribute shows, and the one was San Diego. I like to get dressed up for our shows, but we were just so mad at that point. I was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie.
Another thing you sent, I have not listened to this voice message. Did you want me to play this on
Um,
the episode?
please. Yeah.
Putting the mic up to the computer. What what was that? Oh my
I was
god.
looking at a kitty cat.
There was a cat on earlier
Arlo,
today, if that makes jealous
tell the
audience.
audience.
That's my fabulous little feline named Ichigo. Her name
Aww.
means strawberry.
What a cute little guy he was. Named after the fruit or after the character?
Yeah.
After the fruit.
Strawberry.
Okay. What a cutie
Yeah, we're a
pie.
Thank
fruity little
you.
bunch here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that brings me to the end of my list. Is there anything that you guys wanted to add?
Yeah, we just hope
Cut that out, please.
we just hope
I am, but oh, that somebody gave me on my birthday deathbed.
no, but what I was gonna say is, yeah, just been an honor to do this again with you.
Yeah, all right.
We hope to have some new stuff going this summer.
Yeah.
So just
We have big plans for this summer. Big plans. Like, so you asked us about our plans for the summer earlier, and I didn't get to this one. But we have a huge show. Here, I'm gonna drop some deets real quick.
Ooh.
This is our official announcement of what we're planning on doing, and it is subject to change. Nothing is set in stone. 3 hours of Seawater.
Wow.
We are going to do a 3 hour Seawater set. It's going to have vendors. It's going to have a bunch of people included from the scene, familiar faces, familiar names. It's going to be a fantastic event, and it's going to be run by some great people. And it's like I use the word unmissable a lot because I like that word, but it's going to be good.
All right. Do you want to give us deets about where it is, or should we just be checking out the Instagram?
Yeah, just check out the Instagram. We'll have the official, like, concrete details soon. We have places in mind. We have that I've already talked to. It's not set in stone yet, so I can't say like, oh yeah, by the way, we're playing this at this date, and then just spring it on them. I gotta book it.
All right, if you guys want to keep up with these folks we were talking to today, as well as see those details when they come out, you can follow the band at Seawater. Band. You can follow Seaman at seaman.main. You can follow Chris at KRISHANOSH.
There's really no point though. He's not gonna post anymore because he's missing.
Because he is missing. So if you would like to leave a memorial
missing.
message on his most recent post, feel free to go there.
Everybody send him a message saying how much you miss him.
We will miss you, Chris. We don't know if you're gonna come out of that basement, as well as Arlo Grey Wolf with an E, not an A, on Instagram. That's ARLO Grey Wolf. Thank you guys so much for coming on again. It was amazing talking to you guys once more, and we're looking forward to hearing more of your releases as well as seeing you at this 3-hour Seawater event.
Yeah.
Seawater Siege.
It's gonna be great. I'm really excited.
We are going to be looking forward to that. Do we have a general time frame?
Hopefully I'm not missing.
This summer, hopefully July.
Awesome. And as always, for the audience, if you or a band you know would like to be hosted, please reach out to nowplaying_the916 on Instagram or nowplayingthe916@gmail.com. All that's needed for you to come on is to currently play, previously play, or plan to play the 916. Thank you for listening, and until next time.